Calling to order the Municipality of Monroeville's Citizens Night and Agenda Setting Meeting for July 7th, 2022 is approximately 7:07 p.m. If we'd all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Grieslock?
Here.
Mr. Hizzy?
Here.
Mr. Poach?
Here.
Mr. Stevenson?
Here.
Mr. Wolfram? Mr. Adams?
Here.
Mr. Williams?
Here.
Mr. Biondo?
Here.
Mr. Little?
Here.
Mr. Ratcher?
Here.
Ms. Rock?
Here.
Mr. Yukas?
Here.
Mr. Sedlak?
Here.
Mr. Weldon?
Here.
Good evening. So this is our Citizens Night meeting and our agenda setting meeting. No official action is taken this evening. We vote on our Tuesday meeting, but tonight is a chance for residents to stress their concerns and for us council to talk about the agenda for Tuesday's meeting. There is a sign-up sheet that individuals can sign up for. If they have already signed in, that's great, and if they haven't, you can whenever you decide, if you decide to speak. We always ask to keep your comments to 5 minutes. We will time that. That's just an effort to try to keep the meeting going, and typically 5 minutes is ample time for one to get their point across. There's also a comment period before next Tuesday's meeting for agenda items, and then there's also another comment period at the end of next Tuesday's meeting for any municipal item. So right now, this comment period is for any municipal item whatsoever for residents. So if there's anyone that has signed in already, now would be your chance to address council. And once you get up here, sir, if you could just ensure that you signed in already.
Yes.
And then if you could just state your name for the record.
Yes, my name is David Sheets. I'm here to represent the people who lived in Berkeley Square. I think you're all familiar with Berkeley. It's right down the road here in
Okay.
Northern Pike. And we have an issue. It's a safety issue, and it's caused a lot of problems over the years. And that is when a automobile wants to leave Berkeley and go to Northern Pike, you can look to the right and you can look to the left, and there's a dip both ways, and cars can be coming and converge upon you. And it's caused many, well, we hear them all the time. We're in the first house, we live near the corner. We hear it all the time. But I'm here to represent the people from Berkeley. Would people from Berkeley please hold up their hands? Mm-hmm. We went to door to ask for their signatures, and we got everybody's signature, and nobody rejected. But we're here because we think that a traffic light, something similar to the one on Patty Lane and the one on the old retired Westinghouse driveway, I forgot the name of it, I'm sorry, apologize for that. Anybody know it?
Circle W Drive.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyways, these traffic lights only work, of course, when a car comes up to it from the side streets. In other words, Northern Pike should have a nice, clean run, and they get the preference. So, in asking for this, if the traffic light is out of question, any other safety item, of course, would help. And one of the things that we found that might help is a mirror that could look both ways so you can see the traffic coming. And this is not only for the people of Berkeley, but it's for anybody that travels Northern Pike.
This meeting is back in session. It is approximately 7:29 PM. We had a medical emergency here with our last speaker, Mr. Sheets. He's on his way to the hospital, and it looks like he's going to be okay. We had some very quick response by our police chief was here with an AED, Mr. Poach. This is, other than being in a hospital, I think it's the best place for something like that to happen. There was a tremendous response. A lot of people here right away. I don't know, I think I counted 25 people, and paramedics and firemen. So Mr. Sheets is in good hands, but Eric, chief, great job, and everyone else involved here. But so it's hard to resume a meeting after that, but we're going to get back into business here. So just to reiterate what Mr. Sheets and the Berkeley Way folks who were here this evening were requesting, that they are requesting that Monroeville approve and install a traffic light or a mirror to be used by the drivers departing Berkeley Way and entering Northern Pike. They submitted a petition which has 60 signatures stating the same. And I explained to the residents before they left, that is a PennDOT road. Monroeville really doesn't have control over that. And also, as far as a mirror is concerned, that PennDOT has gotten away from that. But now, Mr. Little, Mr. Hugus, if you could chime in as far as these kind of situations, you know, if residents request these things, or if the municipality requests these things, how do we go about it? Is it PennDOT do a traffic study? How are these things?
Yeah, we would write a letter to PennDOT requesting the traffic signal. Now, they may do the traffic and engineering study themselves, and they may request us to do it, either or, but somebody will have to do it, and it's called a warrant analysis to see, and there's a lot of different items that go into it. It has to do with the geometry of the road, the speed, the sight lines, so there's a lot of components to it. We went through this originally. That's how we got to the blinky light. Originally, it wasn't there. So we went to the blinky light. I'm not so sure that many of the parameters have changed since that point in time, other than maybe you have more traffic volume. I'm not so sure about the traffic accidents that have occurred, but you know, they would look at over the past 5 years for those statistics.
Okay. Council, where does everybody sit with this as far as looking at this, or instructing the manager to maybe have PennDOT look at this again?
Sure.
Yes.
I think that's reasonable, at least. I mean, and would we have what PennDOT's, what they said the first time around? Would we have that in the archives anywhere?
Yes, we would.
Do we know how long ago that was?
Probably put the blinky light in 10 years ago.
And
Yeah.
possibly, I mean, yeah, I mean, a lot of things would not have changed in that time, but there would be some traffic patterns might change.
Right.
There's some new development on that,
Right,
on that
and the
road.
municipality paid for the construction of the blinky light. That was part of it.
Okay.
Now, I did get a phone call from a resident, I don't know if she was here tonight, about a mirror. Said she contacted PennDOT to erect a mirror, and PennDOT doesn't do that. But they directed it back to us, which I don't understand, because it's a state road. We can't put a mirror up on a state road, the state would have to do that. But they don't do that. They gave us a letter a couple of years ago, a strike-off letter that says they don't install mirrors anymore.
Okay. All right, so Tim, why don't we maybe just at least inquire with PennDOT and get the ball rolling and see
Yeah.
what they initially say?
Wow, okay. I'll take care of it.
Very good. Now, we still have our public comment period open. Sir, are you here for public comment or for a later item? Later item. Thank you. So we're going to close the Citizens Night portion of our meeting, and I'm going to close Citizens Night and move over to our agenda-setting meeting. We did a roll call earlier. Still, same members are here as they were at the onset. And we have an executive session announcement. The council conducted an executive session before Citizens Night this evening on Thursday, July 7th, from 6:15 to 7 p.m. for personnel and litigation reasons. Council legislative action, if any, shall be taken at the Tuesday, July 12th council meeting. We have minutes. We do have minutes to review for this evening. Council Citizens Night meeting of June 9th, 2022. Council agenda setting meeting of June 9th, 2022, and the regular council meeting of June 14th, 2022. Any questions about those minutes or comments, council?
No
Make
questions.
a motion to
Nope.
approve.
We'll make a motion on Tuesday, but any additions at this point?
Tuesday, yeah.
No.
Nope. Okay, very good. Moving over to our reports of our tax collections. Council, any comments or questions about those reports? Seeing none. List of bills and budget transfers. Council, any questions about any of the items in the list of bills or the budget transfers? Seeing none. And the payroll report, questions or comments, council? Seeing none. We are moving over to our consent agenda. We have new business, 22-2-SUB Constantino Consolidation Plan. Mr. Little.
Yes, this is applicants requesting preliminary and final subdivision approval to subdivide a consolidated tax parcels 977N347, 978A389 first tract, and 978A389 the second tract into one lot totaling 2.121 acres. The property is located at 4334 Northern Pike in the C2 Business Commercial District. Planning Commission recommends approval. If I'm not mistaken, this is very close to Berkeley Square.
Well, it borders Circle W
I
Drive.
know, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So you're the applicant or representing the
My
applicant?
name is Edward Patton. I'm with Patton Engineering LLC, 2920 Leechburg Road, Lower Borough. They're our client. As it was just stated, we are requesting preliminary and final approval subdivision for a subdivision and consolidation of two lots totaling 2.121 acres. The project's located in the C2 Business Commercial Zoning District, and that's where we stand.
Okay, and we have a map up there. Jared, if we get a camera on the map. If you just orient us.
Okay, this is, maybe.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. So this is Northern Pike Boulevard. And this is the consolidated parcel. Here is the parcel we're consolidating into this larger parcel, the total 2.121 acres.
So there's
So
three
yeah.
three parcels there now, correct?
Well, the one parcel is designated as 0.550 acres, and I believe that is a consolidation of these two into one, and then these two into one. They're both the same deed book volume and page number, so those two are just one parcel.
There is a boundary line there, though.
Yeah, there is.
And I think that's one of the reasons for the consolidation, to clean all that up, because there are three tax parcel ID numbers. Once the consolidation is approved and recorded, it'll just become one lot, and all those interior lot lines will go away.
Somebody forgot to take off the boundary line?
It was confusing to look at, yes.
Yeah, I was looking at it today, and I was wondering, well, what's that boundary line on there?
So this subdivision will help clean all that up.
Yeah.
And there was a partial roadway beside it, too, between the property at one time, was there not, and Circle W Drive?
There may have been an
There may have
unopened
been.
right
There was
of
a
way.
driveway and
Yeah.
stuff, too, because it was
Right.
also part of the old,
The
it was,
old
yeah,
pump
it was the old,
station.
well, the old pump station, but also to the other entrance to the drive-in that was back there. For some reason.
Right to the backside of
So this property is where the old drive-in, like kind of behind Forbes?
No, as you come down just prior to the light going Northern Pike heading eastbound, and Circle W Drive coming to it where the light is, there's a small open space here where there's three houses left. So you have the doctor's office, the dentist's offices, go past it, and it sits back that direction.
Remember the old pump station, Mike,
Yeah.
was down there?
That's where
Right
the
there.
drive-in
Down the
was,
bottom of
wasn't
it.
it?
Right.
Yeah, not up, not on the top, yeah.
So, Mr. Wheeldon, there was conditions?
It's mine, it's mine.
Everything's been met.
Everything's good?
Last thing,
Everything's
last piece
good.
of property in mine.
Okay. Council, any other questions for the applicant?
C2, so we're still, you're not gonna, you have any changes on
No.
request for zoning changes?
Not at this time.
Great, C2.
Is the intent to sell the property, or is?
I think that they're considering having it developed, so. What
Okay.
those plans are, we're not sure yet.
Understood. Thank
Okay.
you very much.
You're welcome.
We'll
Thank you.
consider that at our Tuesday meeting. Council, moving over to our motions, we have two this evening.
Yeah, first one is a motion to approve property acquisitions for the Tricog Land Bank for properties located at 306 Interlaken Drive and 3767 Evergreen Drive. Any questions from council on
Are
this?
them all vacant lots?
Yeah. It's 3767, just
It's the corner
right
lot.
right on Garden City.
Right. And
There's nothing
Evergreen.
there.
And Interlaken is the house we tore down
It is, isn't
a
it?
couple of years ago, yeah.
Didn't we add that?
I think Evergreen's gone.
Yes,
Evergreen,
yeah,
there's nothing there.
yeah,
It's,
Interlaken.
there used to be a house there.
It's,
Yeah, the municipality,
Yeah.
that's both of those.
They're
I
both-
know because I
They're
filed
both
liens
vacant
on
properties.
Okay.
grass cutting.
Yeah.
I was not aware of that.
Any other questions?
Oh,
Are they buildable lots, or?
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Residential,
There were-
yeah.
There was a house on the Interlaken one, I don't
Yeah,
know.
they're
There was a
both
house
vacant.
on
They both had
Evergreen, too.
structures on
Yeah.
it before we demolished them.
The house on Interlaken was a mess.
It was gone.
Yeah, I was in there a number of times.
I was gonna buy it.
No other questions? Very good. Next item.
Okay, and second, a motion to approve a half banner ad in the 13th Annual Jewish Community Calendar in amount of $250. I believe the council has approved this before.
Yes.
As a,
Yeah.
there's a, I believe, an example of, in your packet, of one we did before, if I'm not mistaken.
White section,
No, there's not an example, but
description.
Rabbi Mindy mentioned that we had done this before.
Yeah, we did it, I believe,
Yeah.
for their last calendar.
Yeah.
You know, that's not a lot of money, but
Somebody.
we don't have a lot of money. We need to start thinking about not giving some away.
You gotta make a motion on it next week.
Next week.
Yeah, it'll be considered on Tuesday. Any other questions about that item? Very good. Moving on to resolutions. We have one this evening. Mr. Little.
Okay, a resolution authorizing the municipal manager to enter into an agreement for the municipality's participation with the County of Allegheny for snow and ice control on the county roads for the years 22, 23, 24, and 25. This is more or less a housekeeping item because all the roads are the same, the lengths of the roads are the same, and I would recommend approving the resolution. Paul, you have anything to add to that or anything?
Are they all the same, or do they add
Yeah,
some?
they're all the same, yeah.
Okay.
Any questions, council? Seeing none. Moving over to our ordinances. We have one this evening that was tabled at last month's meeting. Mr. Ratcher, do you have an update on this?
Yeah, let me read it just for the record. In order to the Municipality of Monroeville, Allegheny County, Pennsylvania, amending Chapter 290, Property Maintenance of the Code of the Municipality of Monroeville, and repealing ordinance numbers 2023, 2298, 2391, 2479, and 2685 by adopting the 2018 International Property Maintenance Code and additional regulations as listed herein, regulating and governing the conditions and maintenance of all property, buildings, and structures. And I believe Mr. Yugas has a final version that will be available for voting on Tuesday at the regular council meeting.
It's the one in your packets.
Pink, or no, yellow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yellow, yes.
Any questions, council? Very good. Mr. Ratcher, any comments for reports this evening? We'll move over to our reports.
Nothing.
Thank you. Mr. Little.
I have a few items. The first one is the five-year capital improvement program. Council has received all of the submittals by council members as far as their priority to all of the items on the capital improvement program. And it's, Josie has put this together, and the one column, it's the 1, 2, 3, fourth column over, about where they rank from 1 to 5, with 5 being the highest, and what their average priority is among the council members who submitted their priority for each capital item. So right now, I was just wondering if council had, well, what I'll do is this. Let me read to you what we had, Josie gave me this, she put this together off of the data. We had a total of possibly 744 priorities. That was all council members together. We had 718 answer. Now, there was obviously some, there weren't any numbers there. And we had priority number 1, which is the lowest, we had a total of 54. Number 2, we had a total of 15. Number 3, we had a total of 100. Number 4, we had a total of 232. And number 5, we had a total of 286, which that right there shows you that a lot of the things on the capital improvement program, council as a whole collectively believes they're important. Everything's important. But as you can see on your capital, if you brought your capital improvement program that everybody was given initially, we have a deficit of what, on the summary page, we have a deficit, I believe it's 15 million, if I'm not mistaken, on what, and that's over a 5-year period. Yeah, $15,769,000. And obviously, these are all estimates. And so does council have any discussion on anything in
I'm sorry, Jim,
particular?
where was the summary, which part was the summary page?
Well, that's on the summary page of the initial draft you received on May 19th. Last one.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, and then there's a summary of it, then on page 7, too, it comes back across.
Since, I gave you a hard copy of the
Yep,
priority item.
I got it now.
If anybody has any discussion about that or anything dealing with the capital improvement program. Council, have any suggestions on what, moving ahead?
Any questions, council? So, I mean, I would suggest I'd be curious as far as we get into these numbers, is, council, rank these items like you reiterated, which then gave an average
Correct.
per each item.
Correct.
I'd be curious, I mean, at what number, do we, is it that does council want to consider everything, or is there a certain benchmark that, say, council would approve, okay, everything with a average at a 2 or higher, or 3 or higher?
And Josie
And
and I
if
were
we do-
talking, we were talking about that
But
today.
also, but if we
Right,
do
we
that,
talked
I'd be
about that.
curious too, are the ones, say, below 2 and under, is it a minimal amount of money? Because,
That's going to be my project for,
yeah, so maybe if we dig
probably
into the
next
numbers.
week I should have it.
If we dig into the numbers a little
Yeah,
bit, just so
right.
council has an idea, because it might be very easy for council to say, yeah, let's kind of just approve everything that has averages 2 and up, but is it only, out of $15 million, is it less than 100,000? I don't know.
How about 4 and up?
That's for council.
Well,
to
here's what
decide.
we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do to
Or
put it
break down the
across.
numbers a little bit.
Exactly. We're going to start on what the aggregate is for the 1, the lowest, then the 2, then the 3, then the 4, and each of you step that off of what the running total is, as far as numbers. Right now, we're at 15 million and some change, $15.7 million. And then you'll say, let's say number 1 is 2 million, number 3 is 5 million, total 7 million, and then step it out like that on your running total. So you can see what your priority is and what it's costing everything. Now, invariably, there is going to be items that, for instance, is a number 2, and then a department head is going to scream, they need that. That's going to happen, okay? And those are the kind of decisions that, we got to make here. But the most important thing here, and all the department heads know this, and even council, you see now the last 2 months what is needed for the community in the next 5 years. And there isn't that much fat in that capital improvement program. In fact, you look at it and you're always picking out things, even the road program. We only have about 1.5 million, if I'm not mistaken, for each year. Now, this year, we're spending 2 million. So there's that. You're looking.
And Tim,
at
when
that.
did we last have an actual capital
We
improvement
had-
bond? Or
A bond,
or
we
capital
have
improvement
never
fund?
floated a bond since I've been working here. The last time a bond was floated, I think, was in '08. And we've refinanced 3 times since I've been here.
But then when was the last time we actually had a capital improvement budget?
Okay, the last time we had a capital improvement budget, when I first started working here, Sue Worksman and I put it together. Then I went on my sabbatical leave, and then when I come back,
Well put.
well, Doug went down to the mine. You went to waivers, I went on sabbatical leave.
Go on.
And when I come back, it was just about done, so the bottom line, it went from.
Was that 2003?
2010.
No, it was 2000,
sorry, 2000.
11, 12, 13, 14. No,
2013.
10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It was 10 to 14
Mm-hmm.
was the last one we've had. In fact, I could bring a copy of it.
So we haven't had one for this is now
Right.
8 years.
Correct, that is correct.
Okay.
A bona fide one.
Yeah, and I think, so we just may dig into the numbers a little bit, and then just to kind of what Tim mentioned as far as, there's, every department's going to have important things, but I think what council also has to be conscious of is that, and when we start ranking things, something like, say, a snow plow or a police vehicle, which are what some would say are very critical, things that we need for a municipality, they're always going to rank higher than, say, something in the rec department or something at the library or the senior center. So I think we should also be conscious of all the individual departments as well, because it's very easy to rank some of those bigger infrastructure items very high versus some other departments. So I think we need to dig into the numbers a little bit more. I think we're heading in the right direction at this point. And, but once again, we can discuss this at every, whether it be a agenda-setting meeting or a regular meeting, and then if we have to, we can also call a special meeting specifically for the capital improvement budget. So we certainly have time. And then refresh us once again on what's the earliest we could pass one.
Well, as we were just talking here, we haven't had a bona fide capital improvement program. We've been in a pay-as-you-go mode. And a little history on that. I mean, ever since 2016, I'm guessing, I've always, talk about having a flow of money coming into the capital improvement program, but that's a decision, obviously, for council. And the big item, obviously, is the pandemic. We were moving ahead with this in 2018 and 19, and then the pandemic hit, and then we put the kibosh on everything as far as extraneous spending. And then we ranked it back, and then we got it moving again. I got it moving again just at the end of last year, and so we're where we are right now. So
And how would you characterize roughly, Tim, the financial picture now? During the pandemic, we took a look at, you were giving us a report on a monthly basis.
Right.
How we're doing, how our revenue's coming and going as well. Obviously, we're going to have some more, financial impacts. We were just talking about economic impacts and stuff too, but the financial picture is another piece of that. How do you roughly characterize that?
And I've said this before. I mean, we're better off than most municipalities right now if you take a snapshot in time. You look at our balance sheet, and that's what a balance sheet is, a snapshot in time. But the but there is the capital improvement program is showing you what's headed down the road in the future. I think we've done a pretty good job, the department heads, and everybody sitting up on this dais, and even the previous council, have done a pretty good job of a pay-as-you-go, because that's what we've done until we kind of gathered our thoughts, and depending on how we have a constant revenue stream into the capital improvement program. To answer your question, I think we're fine, but everybody can see the numbers here and see what the estimates are of the capital items, and there's always other things that crop up, and where the deficit is. And usually in the past, going back to when bonds were floated in '05 and '07, there was some bonds of about $7-8 million that were floated. The last capital improvement program we had, the one I'm talking about from 10 to 14, it was a total of about $16 million, the whole thing. Now, nothing was done with that because there was some disarray back in 12 and 13, and nothing was done with that with respect to funding it, floating a bond or anything like that. But I do think you have to look at this and how you're going to fund it moving forward. But we're sitting okay right now. The but there is, you got some big-ticket items coming down the road.
Pay us now or pay later. I mean, that's what's going to end up happening. We're almost, since it's been so long, we're almost to the point where we have no choice. We've discussed, like, we were just talking about the HVAC, the building, some of that stuff. We're at the point, like, we don't really have much of a choice right now. We have to fix those. And had we had a different laid-out plan, we'd have been replacing those capital over a longer period of time, and it'd been a little less, impact. So, but that'll be an interesting plan. Look forward to it. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments, council? Very good. Tim, you had other items?
Yeah, a couple other items here. The Household Hazardous Waste Electronic Collection Event will be July 16th, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Thank you, Jared, for putting that up there.
Oh, yeah.
So register on the website. It's encouraged to register, and it is at the Public Works Building on Star Avenue. Number 3 is the 5K Race Community Day will be, 5K Race and Community Day will be July 30th up at Community Park West, and the 5K race is at 9 p.m. and registration is at 8 o'clock. And Community Day starts at 11 a.m. and goes until 6 p.m. Thanks for putting that up, Jared. We look forward to everybody coming out, enjoying some food. It's a lot of fun for the kids, especially the foam party. Okay, and also the National Night Out is Tuesday, August 2nd, up at the park at the 2 pavilions, number 3 and
We haven't done that in a while.
number, was that 1 and 4? None of, 1 and 4?
Been a while.
It's been a while.
1 and 4, I think pavilions 1 and 4. And that is August 2nd from 6 to 8 at the community park, 2 and 4, I'm sorry, there it is right there. Pavilions 2 and 4. And we had the July 4th parade, which I thought was great. I'd like to thank everybody, Mr. Hugus and his Public Works Department, JJ, for being the chairman, and Mr. Estock, and all the committee. Harold Kotowski, he's been doing it for what, about 30 years?
50.
And
50.
50, that's right, 50.
We determined 50.
Everybody that had a hand in it, I thought the parade was great. I thought it was a great turnout.
And the fire.
And that concludes my report.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Little. Mr. Hugus, anything this evening?
No, sir.
Ms. Rock?
No, no report.
Very good. Moving on to council members. Mr. Hizzy?
Yes, I would say great job to the 4th of July committee, and the Porter Johns were very well appreciated at the end of the parade. And it was great
Isn't
to
that
have
the
them
truth?
there. Next year, we're going to have to put a few up beside the parade starting area, because
Yeah.
you had to hold it until you got down to the end of the parade.
Made you walk faster.
Oh, yes, you did. Also, thanks, Doug, Eric, for the great job you did with our little medical emergency here, and that's all I have for today.
Thank you. Mr. Poach?
Yeah, I really wanted to go back to the 4th of July, Tim, because Joe's being a little modest. He was up at about 3 in the morning, doing the things that he does, and Mike as well, because these guys have been riding herd on the committees, for the last couple of months. So they really
1977.
did a great job with that. Public Works guys were great again, Paul. Fun to do that. And this change may not be such a bad idea.
No, it is not.
Thanks to the Visitor and Conventions Bureau and stuff, they opened up the convention center, and there's restrooms and things like that, which was really helpful, we found out, for all the marching bands and some of the other people that were finishing outside. At least they had a regular, the younger kids and everything, had a place to go into, and it was cooler too. So that might be I think there's plans to revisit that in the fall, to say as an after-action report, to do that as well. The fireworks were well received as well. The police were terrific. They almost didn't let us out of the police car when they took us back to the Miracle Mile. They were going to leave us locked in it, to do that as well. So it was it was great. Yeah, it was great, and it was one of the largest I think we've ever had, right?
Yeah,
Jeff?
it's big.
In terms of participation. Glad that people came back to it. So looking forward to it. Other than that, that's about it. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Poach. Mr. Stevenson?
I hate to repeat, but I concur with everything that was said, with one exception. I don't know who did this, but there was a truck that come by that had water and passed out to a bunch of people that really needed it. And I don't know who that was, but whoever it was, thank you. And that's all I have.
Very good, thank you. Mr. Adams.
I'd like to concur with the parade committee and all who involved. It was a great time. Did a good job.
Great, thank you. Mr. Williams.
Well, it's impossible to thank everybody but name by name, but then my suggestion, Joe, is if there's no porta potties, don't drink after midnight. I'd like to give a shout out to Jimmy Johns and Independence Day Committee, a job well done. Thanks to Paul Estock and our borough workers for their help, and to our police chief, Doug Cole, and his police officers keeping order and keeping us safe. Thank you. I want to, Jared, can you put that picture up of Lindsay? This is a picture, and congratulations to Lindsay Story for her representation of Monroeville as Miss Independence Day. Thanks, Joe, for good parroting. Thank you, and good luck to you. I want to give thanks to the Monroeville Planning Commission, too. People don't realize it, but the Monroeville Planning Commission does hours of legwork for council and makes our job easier. Want to congratulate Paul Wilden on the graduate of his daughter, Becca, and just wish Mr. Sheets a speedy recovery. And if you're going to faint, there wasn't a better place to do it than right here. And I want to thank our paramedics, police chief, and council people who stepped right up and took care of Mr. Sheets. And as far as we know, he's doing fine at the hospital. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Mr.
Oh,
Biondo.
one more thing.
Yes.
Our library does lots of things for the community. One of the things in the Times Express, and I know some of our residents don't get the Times Express for one reason or another, there's a glass demonstration. The Glass Center of Pittsburgh is giving a glass blowing demonstration using its mobile unit, Hot Wheels, from noon to 4 p.m., July the 16th, at the library. That's 4,000 Gateway Campus. So, these things are interesting to watch people make glass melt and blow it. So if you're interested, go over to the library, and it's on the site, and that's kind of exciting, some of the things they do. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Mr. Biondo.
First of all, thoughts and prayers and wishing a speedy recovery for Mr. Sheets. Eric, Chief, nice job. Sprung into action, very well-trained, obviously. You guys did a great job. And the paramedics that came very quickly, thank you to all of them as well. I would echo what everybody says about the 4th of July parade. We had a great time. Everybody did a wonderful job. Mr. Johns, Hizzy, you did a great job. It was just a wonderful event, and that's all I have.
Great, thank you. And I'm going to say the same stuff, actually. Just the Independence Day Parade, it takes a lot to really put it on, especially when we haven't had one in a couple of years. It really changes things. Over the years, we have them every year. It's a little bit on autopilot. Everybody kind of knows what to do. Whenever you have a break like that, it really makes it difficult to come back, and they did an amazing job. And that is the whole committee, Mr. Johns, like keep mentioning his name, Paul Estock and Danielle Cole in the rec department, our police department, public works, and then everyone that was involved, everyone that came out to watch the parade and everybody that participated. It was definitely a well-attended event, and looking forward to many more of them. And once again, I'll echo Mr. Poach, Chief, great job. AEDs work. They're very important to have in facilities, absolutely.
They do.
Yep.
And we certainly wish Mr. Sheets the best. At this point, he is at Forbes Hospital and is stable, and it looks like he's going to be okay. But we certainly will keep you in our thoughts and prayers. And with that, I'll seek a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? This meeting is adjourned. Thank you, and good night.